Вооруженные силы Российской Федерации продолжают проведение специальной военной операции.
9月17号，习近平已结束中亚之行，回到北京。而习普15号会晤后，中共党媒报道只字不提乌克兰，仅称习近平说，中方愿同俄方在涉及彼此核心利益的问题上相互支持。普京则说，俄方赞赏中方在乌克兰问题上的立场，理解中方的疑问和担忧。16号，习普会的新闻已不在党媒首页。各媒体也没有就此点评。当天，中共外交部发言人在记者会上也只字不提乌克兰。分析认为，这次习普会，中俄均处于尴尬之境，虽然都表示继续抱团取暖，但已经做不到毫无保留地支持对方。
那么对普京来说的话呢，由于乌克兰的战场的失败减少了这次在这个普习会上面的分量。习近平其实更是又要交困了，什么清零经济下滑美国参议院外委会呢通过了台湾政策法，还有这个军舰通过台湾海峡等等。那么20大又在眼前，保20大它是第一位的。
俄罗斯入侵乌克兰超过半年，但在过去1周，俄军被赶出乌克兰东部的3大战略重镇。
作为血汗著称的普京输不起的这件事是你主动干了，结果最后你打了半天又回到原处，所以他能不能坐住他的位置，这是很大的疑问。作为一直支持俄国人的中共当局也陷入很大的困难，包括对习近平的地位都会产生影响的。
俄乌开战前，中俄双方高调声明合作无上限。日前，栗战书访问俄罗斯，则表示策应俄军。而习近平这次访中亚，被认为想接棒普京做专制轴心老大。
习近平根本没有这样的能力来要整合这个欧亚大陆这个专制的轴心去跟欧美抗衡，而且中共现在是风雨飘摇，他这个政权是很不稳固的，很可能就是1年2年他可能就滑下来了。
新唐人记者李韵、李新安、王子珍采访报道。
Эта работа продолжается, несмотря на вот эти попытки контрнаступления украинской армии. У нас наступательные операции на самом Донбассе-то не прекращаются.
尽管遭到乌军反攻，俄罗斯总统普丁表示，对乌克兰的攻势行动不会停止。而在乌兹别克举办的上海合作组织峰会，印度总理莫迪与普丁会面时，则敦促俄罗斯停止战争。
आज का युग युद्ध का है नहीं, और हमने फोन पर भी कई बार आपसे इस विषय में बात की है कि डेमोक्रेसी और डिप्लोमेसी और डायलॉग, ये सारी बातें ऐसी हैं कि जो दुनिया को एक स्पर्श करती हैं। आने वाले दिनों में शांति के रास्ते पर हम कैसे बढ़ सके।
俄乌战争进入第7个月，乌克兰总统泽伦斯基接受路透社采访表示，若当初没有坚信收复失土、发动反攻，就得不到外国的武器供应。而战争的结果也取决于武器能否快速运抵乌克兰。对于日前在东北部收复地19亩、发现400具遗体的乱葬岗，泽伦斯基也要俄罗斯负起责任。
Тепер, на жаль, Ізюм. Росія всюди залишає по собі смерть. І повинна за це відповідати. Світ повинен притягнути Росію до реальної відповідальності за цю війну. Зробимо все для цього.
不过，北约秘书长史托滕伯格16日也警告，尽管乌克兰对俄罗斯军队的反击很有成效，并非战争结束的开端，仍需为长期抗战做准备。新唐亚台电视唐杰安整理报道。
Leaders of member states at a restricted session of the SCO summit exchanged views on the bloc's development and major international and regional issues, bearing on the political and economic situation in the region. Chinese President Xi Jinping pointed out that the SCO has upheld the Shanghai spirit and succeeded in exploring a new path for the development of international organizations. He said there is much that can be learned from organizations' rich practices. The president stressed the importance of forging political trust. He said member states should respect each other's core interests and choice of development path and support each other for peace and development. He called member states to stay true to the principle of consultation and cooperation for shared benefits, and also appealed for commitment of equality among all countries regardless of their sizes. On openness and inclusiveness, Xi highlighted harmonious coexistence and mutual learning. Speaking of the current complex situation, the Chinese president asked more efforts from the SCO members for cooperation and development. Xi Jinping urged member states to stay committed to the Shanghai spirit and to enhance solidarity and cooperation on matters concerning each other's core interests and major concerns. He called for efforts on maintaining strategic independence and safeguarding regional stability. He also said member states should work actively for greater economic integration, with stresses on the pursuit of inclusiveness and shared benefits. Advancing the SCO expansion process and strengthening the bloc's institutions are also among the priorities outlined by President Xi. President Xi reaffirmed China's commitment to peaceful, open, cooperative, and common development, and promised to regard the SCO as a priority in the country's diplomacy. He said China stands ready to draw on its own development for the
位在高加索地区的亚美尼亚和亚塞拜然日前才为了争议地区再动干戈，又传出中亚国家的吉尔吉斯和塔吉克的边防军爆发冲突，两方元首才在上合会上会晤并握手，但边境续升温，已有约30人丧生，数十人受伤，数万人逃离家园避难。16日，两国互控违反停火协议，俄罗斯出面调解，敦促采取紧急措施，停止暴力事件。近日，中共驻意大利大使馆向意大利媒体《全景》杂志施加压力，要求其消除一篇有关中共活摘法轮功学员新疆维吾尔人等良心犯器官文章的影响，遭到《全景》杂志的拒绝和公开回击。该杂志发表中共违反了器官移植的医学伦理原则的文章，列举事实作为对中共战狼施压的回应。日本社会持续迈向高龄化。日媒报道，官方统计全境100岁以上人瑞首度超过9万人，连续52年创历史新高。厚生劳动省表示，人瑞人数持续增加与医疗及照护发达有关，但成长率已有趋缓。16日起，法国全国空中交通管制员将举行大规模罢工，要求增加人手和提高工资，导致包括法国航空在内的多家航空公司取消总计上千趟航班，近20万名旅客受到影响。新唐亚太电视整理报道。
Recently, the image of a luxurious two-story toilet building in the countryside of Changchun, Jilin, has attracted the public's attention. On September 16th, the Changchun cropland now has two-story luxurious public toilets, became the topic of Baidu's trending search. In addition, the video about this toilet has also gone viral on the internet. The footage shows a rare sight, the building that looks like a luxury villa in the middle of a crop field, but it is indeed a public toilet. The local response said that this is to facilitate residents to go to the toilet while walking, and is also a garbage transit station. An article on NetEase titled "Prodigal, the 2-story high luxury public toilet in the cropland is useless, except to show off financial wealth," raised many questions about this issue. The article doubts the real purpose of this public toilet. If it is a garbage transfer station, is it necessary to build such a luxurious toilet? In addition, people cannot walk to a large field far from residential areas. Such flashy toilet investment stems from the toilet revolution of the Chinese regime. According to Chinese media, leader Xi Jinping launched this campaign in 2015 to solve the poor condition of public restrooms in tourist destinations. After that, China's large cities and rural areas began to carry out the toilet revolution. The CCP allocates funds to support the toilet revolution every year. Typically, Guangdong province allocated more than 32.9 billion yuan, or $4.7 billion, from 2018 to 2020 to promote rural construction, including the toilet revolution. Yunnan province also invested 1.475 billion yuan, or $211.2 million, in the rural toilet revolution in 2020. However, this toilet revolution has also become a tool for local officials to make money. In July 2019, the China Central TV station CCTV reported that each toilet renovation award replenished funds by 500 yuan in Yingli village, Shijiazhuang, Hebei. As a result, the local officials inflated more than 100 toilets to defraud subsidies.